The Regency Hotel in downtown Denver, and the conference, what is it? This is the, I don't know what it is, but it's Tim Beckley's UFO New Age conference. All right, I'm going to take you on a tour of the room. The majority of this conference is being held in the Rotunda, which is where we are at the moment, and we're going around and we're looking at the various attractions, vendors' booths, and things like that. And I'm here now at UFO Central. Looks like they're selling a lot of videotapes and catalogs of some type on UFOs. Looks like we've got UFOs, the best evidence. That's George Knapp's infamous video, I believe. And got a variety of other things here. Secrets of Dreamland and Secrets of Dreamland, Noria Hayakawa, Rods, Mysterious Objects Among Us. Jose Escamilla's film. We've had Jose Escamilla on the program before. And of course we have Colin Andrews, Undeniable Evidence, the most intriguing and possibly the most important mystery of our times. It's a videotape that is being sold here at the conference. Thank you. The next attraction here is Dale and Dar Emmy. Is that how you pronounce that? E-M-M-E? Looks like a lot of New Age paraphernalia, crystals and that type of thing. Not interested in that. Okay, next thing we have here is looks like an absolute wide selection of books and crop circle secrets. Angels Don't Play This Harp. We've talked about that on the program with Dr. Nick Begich. And let's see, we've got Unexplained, Jerry Clark's book on unexplained phenomena, Black Helicopters Over America, Jim Keith, C.D.B. Bryan's book, Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, Alien Abduction, UFOs, and the Conference at MIT. I've seen a lot of books by Timothy Good, who has written Alien Contact and Above Top Secret, one of the more prolific pieces of literature out there. Hi, can I get your name?
Ginger Redmond.
Ginger, you're selling books here for whom are you selling these for?
For me.
For you? Are you getting a lot of sales and stuff?
We are.
All right, thank you very much. We are now at a booth here where they are selling a collector's prepaid phone card, UFO and New Age Expo EnigmaCon 96. It's got a picture of an alien on it and 3 saucers and a globe. They're selling these cards. They're long-distance phone cards. Is that correct?
It's your UF phone prepaid long-distance calling card that is also a limited edition. There's 1,311 cards in print, period. There will be 2 additional cards to make up the complete Space Gallery set. They come with a very nice folder. We anticipate them going up in value in a rapid way. So you can use the time, hold on to your card as a collector's edition.
I'm just curious, what prompted this kind of thing? Is this something that's fairly new?
It's very new to the United States. The phone card collectibles, they even have a magazine out now that'll tell you. I was just looking through the magazine, telling how many were in print, when they went into print, and what they're worth today. They just increase in value as time goes by. And it also has, well, there's some bearing on being a limited edition. There's, however, cards in here that there's 1 million printed, and they're selling for 100 a piece. You know, it just all depends.
That's interesting. How can folks get these cards?
They can contact us. All the information is on the back. We are also on the internet. We have an email address. We are local in Littleton, Colorado.
Okay, and I have here a phone number if you want to get. These are really quite interesting, and they're kind of nice. You can get these cards by contacting 303-347-9144. Again, that's 303-347-9144. That's a prepaid phone card for the future, and it's a UFO N card collector series. So give them a call and see what they're like.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're over here at another booth. This one here is crystals, and we've got a lot of unusual artifacts here. Crystal skulls even over there. Wow. Kind of scary. Okay. We're here at Planetary Connections. That's another booth. Looks like we sell oils. Is that what you're selling here, is oils?
This is the white powder of gold. It was introduced by David Hudson.
Okay, who's David Hudson?
David Hudson started out, he calls himself a dirt farmer, And he used his equipment in farming to then go into mining of silver and gold. But in mining silver and gold, he came up with a substance. He didn't know what that was. He took it to a chemist. They said, it's nothing. And he says, well, no, I know it's something because I can see it and I can feel it. So he kept going to more chemists, and I don't remember the top chemist that he went to, top in the nation. And by accident, they left it on a heating, and it heated to a temperature that started reading rhodium, iridium, and all the monoatomic elements of the body and the earth. And what happened after that, he thought, well, okay, I've got this. But his uncle had been reading books on alchemy and said, hey, David, I think you should pay attention. I think you've rediscovered something here. And he says, well, I'm not into alchemy. I'm a dirt farmer.
Do these have some kind of a physical property to them that, like medicinal or something else?
It has a physical property, and I make no claims with that. We can't do that. But there is an intuitive thing that happens in the body, because actually what you're doing is raising your frequency. The source that I have here is not David's, but it is from a natural source, an ancient volcano bed in Northern California. And it has been tested by David's chemist. It has the same monoatomic elements.
Okay. I'm curious too. I see you have a flyer here about John Anthony West in ancient Egypt. Is that a trip that people are going to be taking?
Yes. Mystical Journeys, and it's a trip that we're going to put on. We're sponsoring Planetary Connections, so the readers can enjoy a trip with us. We're going in November, and we expect to have a good time.
Great, thank you very much. I'm interviewing Vance Davis. He's been dubbed infamously as one of the Gulf Breeze Six, an incident that happened in 1990. A group of 6 U.S. Army intelligence specialists from the 701st MIBDE, which is a military intelligence unit brigade, okay, 713th Military Brigade in Augsburg, Germany, deserted their posts and returned to the United States in anticipation of Armageddon. Never before in the history of the United States military establishment has a group of soldiers deserted at the same time and together for any reason. Vance has published a book with Brian Blashaw called Unbroken Promises, a true story of courage and belief, and it's my pleasure to be speaking with him today. And Vance, cut through the chase here, go right to the thing about what this book is about.
All right, Michael. Well, it's about personal responsibility for our life. Instead of blaming other people for everything we do, one of the given information, in any information, book you read, however you do it, channeling, the psychics, many people tend to just go on the hoof and believe what they're told. One thing that we were taught and want a book about is not to believe everything you're told, or that you read, or that you hear, but to always confirm it, to look at it, to tear it apart and rebuild it again, to find a logical pattern of thought within it, so that you can sit there and not let the emotion control you, but that you have a factual basis of understanding of what the world is around you, and once you understand that, then you have more control of your own personal life, your individual responsibility. An example is, can we really do anything on a very large level about what the government does?
What does the government do? I'm curious, because take us back to like 1990 with what happened, and kind of build that into what led to publishing this book.
Being in the intelligence field as I was, naive 18-year-old, 1983, joined the military, they teach you real history. We are not taught real history in the schools and the colleges. We're taught a manufactured history that they want you to believe. That way it's easier to manipulate, to move around, to control the populace.
When you say real history, give me an example of something like that.
An example is, let's look at the Bible, for example. Okay, one example. Most of the Bible has been rewritten many, many times. There's many types. You know, when you say, I'll read the Bible, well, which type of Bible are you reading? Religion, in that sense. The Bible wasn't created till 400 years after the event. And it was created for the purpose, if you read real history, so that the Roman Empire could control an anti-political figure of 400 years before, who now has become known as Jesus Christ. So they created a religion around it, so that they could control and control an event or a thought pattern that was that was threatening their own existence.
Now,
They had a lot of power. Now, on the government level, for you, let's look at how they used the Oklahoma City bombing for their benefits. Okay, and this is what I talk about in my talks and stuff and show points. The event happened, and the government used it to their advantage to point toward patriot groups, toward this, towards that. It doesn't matter who did it.
what prompted you and 5 others to leave your posts in 1990?
Information we had received.
And that was?
That was predictions, events that were going to occur, increase in terrorist activity, economic problems, earthquakes, earth changes as they call it. When we researched those items that we were told and received from the sources that we had, when we researched them, that the probability, not saying those events were going to happen, but the probability of some of those events being created and also occurring were high. And the fact of, we take an oath in the military when we take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against foreign and domestic enemies. Some of the information pointed that a domestic enemy was also working within the realms to cause division and destruction within our own work within the United States, to cause a collapse or a distrust by the people in its own government or its own organizations to where a civil war would occur. And that's manipulation. That's manipulating the people. So with that information, one of the things why we left deserted, basically, and over, possibly being killed, was to let certain people know within the government that we knew. Not necessarily for the public, because we took this to officers, the information, and they said we could not take it to the chain of command because it wouldn't get to the people that needed it.
I know that Gulf Breeze, Florida, of course, was one of the real famous places for UFO sightings with Ed Walters and the whole thing. I'm curious, what led your folks there?
Well, let me back up a little bit. 1983, that's where I went to school for the military.
In Gulf Breeze.
In Pensacola.
Pensacola.
Gulf Breeze, yeah. There's the Naval Intelligence School there. And that's where I went to school in 83 with Ken and Annette, three of the 6. We went to school there. There's only 1,000 of us in the field, so we know each other pretty well.
Were you directed to go there at all, though?
We were directed to go there because Ken had met a psychic. Her name was Anna, and she had worked with the FBI and some government agencies before, and she was very good. She didn't go out publicly in charge. She was very secretive. And we were going to go there to check out some of the information we had gotten through other sources. Not to ignore psychics or anything else, as you know, the program, you have to use any resource you have to confirm or deny certain pieces. If you start hitting the same pieces, there must be some truth to it. So we did that. Also, Ken had fallen in love with her. Now, an interesting side bet, yes, we were told to stay there for about 3 days. We stayed 4 days because I also fell in love. Since I was a kid, I had a dream of a woman I'd meet, and I went to Germany because I thought she was German. Well, there she was in front, same picture, same, my vision. Now we're married and have 2 beautiful children. So this is far more than just about conspiracy and everything else. There was some real life issues involved. So that's why we went there. We didn't go there because of UFOs or anything else. We went there to meet these 2 women and to see if they would travel on to Colorado with us. Yes, we were heading to Colorado.
Interesting, and that's exactly where we are now. How did you get these directives, this information?
Okay, in a short version, we used hypnosis, self-hypnosis. We even tried tarot cards, and I don't recommend. It's a show. Okay, it's all it is, people. True psychics don't need that. Some of the psychics are not real. We use some psychics. I had been trained by the military to use my noggin, my brain. I was in, now they call it Project Stargate. I was in that for 3 months. So they trained me how to use the human machine. And it's not as
Familiarize us with Project Stargate for those who don't know what it is.
That was remote viewing, sitting in a room, isolated, going into a meditative state and traveling to, let's say, Iraq and looking at their missile defenses.
So you actually did this?
I actually did that, and it's not that hard. I can even teach you how to do it.
This is, I'm curious, what is the big push nowadays with remote viewing? I noticed you a minute ago you said you don't, tarot cards are just a big game, but you use the word true psychics. So you're saying that there are true psychics, but there are a lot of charlatans or frauds.
Charlatans. It's the use of general statements that makes a difference. If a true psychic, and any true psychic, will tell you what they're reading is you. You're giving them the information. They're not getting it from some other source. They're getting it from you. When you stand in front of them, they're listening to your brainwave patterns. You're feeding them the information. They have just learned how to interpret the energy waves, and they're physically measured brainwaves. They need to learn how to tap into them, and they can interpret them in pictures.
Obviously, whatever has occurred has been very important to you in your personal life and the way you feel about things. What do you think the future is? I mean, the book and all of that.
I'm very hopeful for the future. We're going to be going through a lot of changes. We've seen a lot of changes already. The earthquakes, volcanoes, a lot of things are economic and political things have occurred. And they're still going to be occurring. Our weather, for example, is very unusual right now in that we're still getting snow up in the north and rain and drought down here in the south and crops. So that's going to keep occurring for probably in the next 5-6 years. But what I'm hopeful about is all these changes bring about one thing. We're going to evolve. We're going to change. The society that we are used to is going to fade away and a new one will step in. And it's going to be more of a sharing society. That's why you read about 1,000 Years of Peace, because now people are on the knowledge track. It's about knowledge. It's not about money anymore. It's not about power. It's not about ego. It's now about knowledge and sharing the knowledge. An example for you, in the fight the government is involved in, there are two sides. There's the old dog and the new dog. And if anybody in Colorado has seen dogs fight, when you bring a new pup into the litter, the young dog tries to take over. The old dog usually wins because the young pup is usually letting him win sometimes because he's learning the weaknesses. What you're seeing going on right now is the old dog doesn't want to let go of its power, and the new dog has learned all the tricks and is now wants to bring out all the information to the public, saying we have gone as far as we can. Now we want you to have the information we have so we can all share, and maybe we can move the whole thing up. Where the old power or the old dog is, we need to keep it for ourselves, and we need to protect the little people.
Vance,
people are tired of being protected, I believe.
We're down here at the second annual Rocky Mountain UFO and New Age Expo, and for my Denver listeners, Vance is here. He has a booth here, and you have your book.
Yes, I have a book here.
Give us
some money from you can save some money from the bookstores and everything else.
Okay, so your book is in the bookstores.
You can order it through the bookstores, yes.
Okay, is there some way that people who might want to talk to you, or is there an address or a phone number?
There is an address, and I'll gladly give my home address. It's Vance Davis, 2145 West Broadway, apartment 224, Mesa, Arizona. Not Mesa, Mesa, Arizona, 85202. If they want to call me, they can call and get a hold of my publisher, and I will give them a call back. My publisher's number is 206-630-2165, and just let him know that they want me to contact them, and I'll give them a call, and we'll talk. And it takes me about 30 days to answer a letter if they write, because I get a lot of letters that they do get answered personally by me.
Okay, great. Vance, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you talking to me.
Both of you.
Great. Okay. Conversation with Jesse Marcel from where in Montana do you live now?
In Helena, the capital of the state, yes.
Okay, practicing MD now?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Lately, there's been a lot of new information coming out about the Roswell case. New witnesses coming forward, bits of crash parts supposedly showing up at the Roswell Museum. Do you know much about this or why it's been happening?
Well, I've been kind of out of the loop for new information, except for some people who call me voluntarily, like Miller Johnson, about this new metal fragment that somebody sent to the museum there in Roswell, and he described it to me as being what they think might have been something from the Roswell crash site. What he described was copper with maybe some silver plating on it. And the thought is that this could possibly be part of the microphone assembly from a mobile device, but they don't know.
Is it sort of odd that this sort of stuff is coming up now, 40 plus years later after the crash?
Yeah, you wonder why this has been kicking around in somebody's attic for so many years, and they just suddenly find it. And if it's that old, how do they know it came from Roswell to begin with?